All right, welcome back to episode 5 of Death of the Chef, the show where we take culinary monstrosities and turn them into hopeful masterpieces. Today we have an unnamed dish created by Jonah. Shocker. It features shredded cheese, pretzels, brioche, chocolate sauce, strawberry jam, and butter in a creation that will most certainly cause a terrible pungent aroma in my household. So, join us as we thoroughly poison ourselves on episode 5 of Death of the Chef. Alright, so let's just get this out of the way, I suppose. We're going to set those aside. They will come into play a little later. But first we must lay the foundation for this. So we've got some store-bought brioche bread. It's not going to win any awards, but for our miserable intents, it will certainly get the job done. We're going to start with slice number 1, placed in the middle section of your plate. You are then going to take your 4-cheese Mexican blend, thinly shredded, as the specificity of Jonah. Jonah, when you're done doing whatever it is you're doing, can you direct how much cheese you would like?
Perfect.
That is perfect. All right. Love to hear it. We only ever strive for perfection and death in this household. Then we're going to take our Hershey's chocolate syrup. And once again, you are going to direct me. Please tell me this isn't double sealed. It is double sealed. I should have paid attention.
Bite it off with your teeth.
Drizzle it generously. I'm not going to bite it off with my teeth.
What are your teeth for?
Eating.
Why?
Not this, hopefully.
That's fine. That makes
Inadvertently add a decorative chef's smear. And
It's like
then
when they put the sauce around.
exactly.
Classic chef
Just like in the
themselves.
menu.
Shake it up because maybe that's what you do with chocolate sauce. I don't know. I don't use this enough. And then, oh my god.
A little more.
A little more.
Perfect.
That's not perfect. Okay, so because I don't want to dirty another plate doing, that is mushy and gushy and all other adjectives, so we're just gonna, okay. So now we take our second slice, and I don't want to come in contact with too much of that chocolate sauce, but whatever. For those who are diehard fans of the show, or just chose to waste their time, this is the very same strawberry fruit spread from episode 1, Tom's Lament. Tom is currently decommissioned, but he is displaying his pride. So, we're going to take said strawberry fruit spread, try to evacuate it from the container, place it on top. After this, I will have Jonah once more judge the degree to which it has been smashed atop. We're just gonna, go for it. How does that look?
Pretty good.
More, less, as is?
A little more. Just a little bit. Looks good.
That is deemed satisfactory. I'm gonna set that off to the side. And this is where the pretzels come into play now. It's an interesting combo, one I personally would not have considered. Lightly crushed, I'm assuming. Just, because there's no real purpose to this particular step.
I'm looking forward to this.
That is sad.
Originally, these were the peanut butter filled pretzels, but unfortunately, some of our colleagues are weak, so we're using just.
Yeah, the chef's
pretzels.
the only one allowed to die here.
Yeah.
Siska's back in the microwave?
For the record, I wouldn't.
Yes, with both of them.
For how long?
Jake would have.
Another 30 seconds, probably.
Another 30 seconds. Well, just, it's tradition at this point.
And I'll see
Let's
you
go.
in
I'll
the
see you at
next
the microwave.
episode.
Alright, well, it's been stated that 30 seconds is required once more. And then we say goodbye to any semblance of hope we had for this.
It's time, Shane.
Ooh, it's sizzling. Ooh, okay. Okay, that is some mushy bread. Now we gotta make a sandwich. It's concave. I didn't know it would do that. So we're gonna add, I don't know, that's probably a tablespoon of butter. This is just barely holding its shape. I'm terrified to see. Oh, it's already starting to melt. We're gonna sandwichify this. That's not a word. Like, oh my god, it's... Just invert that. Get a look at what is... It's steaming actively. This is about to go in my stomach in a matter of moments. I genuinely think that I got very lucky because this show has conditioned me to not feel anything. This doesn't taste like anything to me. And maybe I just didn't get cheese, but I can't taste anything right now. And I'm wondering if that means I should go back. There's cheese on that bite. Oh yeah, that was stretchy. And that makes me regret my choice. That was genuinely terrible. Oh no. No. I'll let everyone else try it, and then they can formulate their opinions. Yeah, you guys have fun.
I have a pretty neutral opinion on that. I took a bite, and I got something bad that I think my brain partially blocked out, and then chocolate sauce.
That was like a 6 out of 10. Like possibly an 8 out of 10 sans jam. Jelly, whatever. I enjoyed that. Any questions?
So, I don't know. I have no strong opinions on this dish. Conceptually, I don't think this should have been real. I don't know if the camera caught that. Shane just threw the brioche bread onto the counter. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. It's an insult to me. It's an insult to Jonah. It's an insult to the chef.
I feel great. I feel like that. I'm not sure why it was getting so much hate.
I feel like Jonah is trying to come up with just the worst things he can make instead of meals sometimes.
Tasted pretty good, but I don't feel good about it.
Like, I would eat that, you know? I would make that, and I would eat it.
It tasted truly awful. This is the first thing I've had in the show that has triggered my gag reflex.
Yeah, I think that belongs in a restaurant.
Definitely ranks near the bottom of what we've done so far. I don't really know what to say about it. I'm fortunate that I didn't get much flavor in the first one. It felt like a net zero effect. I regret going in for a second bite because that's when I got hit with the cheese and the chocolate, and that was a truly unfortunate combination. I don't recall who said that they would pay for it in a restaurant. They are absolutely incorrect. It was Catherine. I think food should be to each their own, but that was just a genuine false belief, and I can't get past that, even for a friend. So we had some minor difficulties with our recording and audio, so you get the wonderful nature of a voiceover for the first time in Death of the Chef. So in this aspect, we're now going to be pivoting away from what was such a dreadful concoction of a little bit of good and largely just dreadful, unholy combinations of cheese and chocolate, which we don't ever have to revisit again in that capacity. What we are going to do is make something called a sweet pizza. Odd as it sounds, they are common, usually tying in fig, prosciutto, all of that wonderful stuff. Ours is going to lean into the nature of more of a dessert style, so we are going to make our own pizza dough, top it off with a fig jam, goat cheese, which will play very nice with our sweet elements, a dark chocolate drizzle, leaning into the dark chocolate because that's going to add a different, earthy, very mildly bitter undertone to play very well with our sweet fig jam. And we're going to top that off with some of the crushed salted pretzels once more because those may add a nice textural dichotomy. So, join us as we try to enjoy the rest of our evening with a good meal. All right, so for the first step of our improvement, we have to finish making our pizza dough. So we started that last night. This was started at 8 p.m. last night. It is now, like 2:30 p.m. the next day. It's been a long time. So to do that, we've got our dough. It's been fermenting for, it needs anywhere between 12 and 24 hours. We're healthily in that range. So this batch that I made last night makes 2 doughs, so we are just going to throw down an indiscriminate amount of flour. If you're gluten-free, That sucks. Then we're going to take our pizza dough and just try to very carefully, for the most part, turn it out onto said bed of flour. Form it into a general ball like such. Tuck it over or into itself. And take your bench scraper, divide it into two, generally, and then again, just kind of tuck it underneath itself continuously so that when it does proof, it's working against its own tension, and that allows it to form a nice circular shape. Now plop it down in one bowl, and you're going to repeat the very same process with your second piece of dough. And then with the plastic wrap that you totally didn't forget to grab, which I'm going to go do right now because naturally I will always forget something. You're going to bring that back, make it look like it was always here, fail miserably. Then you're going to cover one of them. You're going to try to cover one of them. And you're going to take that and you're going to let it sit aside. And then you're going to take the next one and you're going to cover it. And you're going to let it sit aside, both of which for roughly 45 minutes, not until they've doubled in size. There's not enough yeast to do that, but just so they're still puffy, the gluten's allowed time to relax, and they're ready to make into pizzas. This is relatively melted. We're going to turn the heat just about off because it's going to stay melted for a while. We're just going to hit it with a little bit of salt, not a whole lot. This is just my choice. I don't know if that's going to make a monochrome of a difference in the end, but incorporate that. Hopefully it doesn't cause the chocolate to break, in which case we'd have to do this all over again, but it really shouldn't do anything beyond elevate the flavor just a tad. So we've got that incorporated. We're going to turn the heat off, just let this hang out until we are ready to use it, which will be momentarily. All right, so we are ready to get going. So we're going to take one of our balls of dough. It's had about 45 minutes, give or take. The gluten should be nice, relaxed, stretchy, pliable, and delightful. You toss it to coat it in a bit of flour to make it a little more workable. And then we're not going to roll it out. You're just going to pass it through your hands. It's not quite big enough to do the knuckle over knuckle quite yet, but just going to work it out into a general round. We want something that's stretched as thin as possible, and by letting it rest, you're going to let that gluten relax, and it's going to be much easier to do this process. If you ever gotten like the pizza dough from the store, that stuff is, if you treat it correctly, applicable for pizzas. It's just very challenging to get right. And if you've ever noticed, if you try to do it from when it's cold and you just immediately take it out of the fridge, it always kind of retracts to its initial shape. And that is because the gluten is very tight, so it just will pull back. If you let it rest and come up to room temperature, then you'll have a much easier time getting it to hold its shape and working it into whatever shape it is that you would like for your pizza purposes. So, again, toss it down, stretch it out a bit, try to get it coated in the flour on the bottom. If you get it too much on the top, then it's gonna impede your topping's ability to top, and we don't want that. So stretch it, toss it. If you toss it down on the bottom on your work surface, you get a better idea of what shape you're looking at, and you can see where to adjust. These pizzas are gonna be relatively small. That's okay. Try to keep a bit of a rim on there so you have a crust, unless you don't like crust, in which case, I don't know what to tell you. You can just make a flat, I suppose. So we're gonna work with a small pizza here. And that's probably satisfactory. We've put a bunch of cornmeal down in our pizza peel. That's gonna make it easier to slide off into the oven. Give it a little shake back and forth. You can see it's all set. So we're gonna head over to a 500-degree oven, maxed out, that's been heating for about an hour at this point. So let's get going. All right, so 500-degree oven, it's been heating up for about an hour. We've got 2 pizza stones in there, one on the bottom, one on the top. The one on the bottom is what we're gonna use because that's gonna have radiant heat coming down from the top. So, and it goes. Key is moving quickly here because you don't wanna lose any heat. Turn the timer on for just a few minutes. What we wanna do is allow our pizza to crisp up a little bit before we add our other toppings. That way it gets brown, crispy, and we don't burn some of the sugars in what we're gonna be using. We've had a few minutes in the oven. We're going to take it out. Slide it out. Get your pizza peel. Slide it at the top. And close up the oven. Let it heat up a bit. And now we're going to add our toppings. So we come. Okay. So to start, we're going to take a base layer of fig jam, which is much thicker than I expected. My God. This is gonna be an arduous process. Hopefully the heat from the pizza helps melt it a bit. Ooh, it feels like it just came out of a 500-degree oven. Try to get as much as you can without scalding your fingers. Ow, Jesus, this is hot. I don't know why I'm working so quickly. It's going back in the oven, so there's no point. Take your time. Enjoy life. Enjoy what you do. Unless you're me and had to eat the unnamed sandwich before this, or what did we call it? The ghost sandwich? I don't remember. So you're gonna add your fig jam. Then you're gonna take some goat cheese, throw it over top. Goat cheese is gonna be pretty crumbly, so don't worry if you don't have perfect slices. That adds to the aesthetic. Then, because this potentially contains some allergens, we're only gonna put this on part of our pizza. You can do all of yours if you'd like. This is our melted chocolate sauce. And then can I get the pretzels back over here, please? Thank you. And then we're just gonna crush some of these all over top. Like such. I don't know what's going on over. Are you guys playing rock, paper, scissors?
No.
At such a time?
At a time such as this. To act simply not.
Alright. So it's going back in the oven now. Let's go. And in we go. For another few minutes. And it comes out. Look at that. Oh, that is nice burnished brown. Looking delicious. Close it up. Hit the cancel button. And we're going to head on over. Alright, so it's out of the oven. We're going to slice it up and consume it as you do with pizza. So, that is what I was hoping we would hear. Some degree of crunch, meaning that it is cooked well enough. I'm going to leave this to you guys to cut up so that it doesn't come in contact with the dark chocolate and possibly kill you. How many people do we have? Yeah, like 6. I don't know. 7. We'll cut them into quarters. That is outrageously hot. All right, now that you've got your fucking shit. Sugar doesn't cool down easily. Don't launch 500-degree fig jam on your hand. It's hot. So, we are going to take a wonderful slice. Look at that. Crispiness, browning, crisp on the bottom. And then you just must be prepared to scorch your mouth. The crunch of the pretzels is a really odd note, but the sweet and the salty offset the saltiness of the chocolate offsets the sweet of the fig jam. The cheese plays really well. The pizza dough is great. It's nice and airy. I don't know if it's my favorite thing that we've done so far, but it is really quite good. So you guys can try it now.
I'm sorry. I just really don't like jelly. It was understandable when Tom's Lament in the first thing, just because it was strawberry jelly and less noticeable. But this has just fully pitted me against the fact that I just really do not like jelly.
I mean, yeah, that was quite enjoyable. It was my first time having a sweet pizza. Good first time. Shane's first time making one. Good first creation.
I would say this was pretty good. I enjoyed this quite a bit. If anything, maybe it was a little bit salty in comparison to the sweet, but overall, a good meal. I'd say it probably serves as a good midpoint of the Shane meals we've had on here. A good 3rd place out of 5 we've had.
It was a lot better. I don't know what Hugo's screaming about. But it was definitely not a typical pizza, but I think it worked well.
I liked it. I think I liked them an equal amount, which I think Shane is gonna be sad about. But I think this one is more likely to be served in a restaurant. and I'd pay like a little more money for it because it seems like fancier. But if I were at home and like having a day and I needed like comfort food, I would eat the first one, is all I'm saying. But you know, I respect Shane as a chef. He has a great handshake. And why and yeah. Hey.
It's not my favorite thing that we've made on the show so far, but it was really, I think, still quite good. Hugo, sorry you don't like jelly. Not sorry. Don't really care. I enjoyed it. Ultimately, this is my show. Just kidding. It's our show. But this is my kitchen, so I liked it. I don't care what anyone else says. It was fun to make. I've never made it before, too, so that made it all the more enjoyable. And it was eaten regardless, so what is there to complain about in the end? Thank you, everybody, for coming. This is episode 5. We've done 5 of these so far. That is astonishing. We're nearing the end of this season, but we've still got some really exciting things in store, so stick around. This has been episode 5 of Death of the Chef. Adios.